The U.S. Supreme Court says the Trump administration can begin denying asylum seekers refuge while a legal fight on the rule continues. The justice's decision late Wednesday temporarily undoes a lower court ruling that had blocked the new asylum policy in some states along the southern border. The policy is meant to deny asylum to anyone who passes through another country to the U.S. Justices Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Sonia Sotomayor dissented from the high court's order. Sotomayor says the rule upends, quote, longstanding practices regarding refugees who seek shelter from persecution. With more from Washington is CBS News reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez. Camilo, thanks very much for being with us. What can you tell us about this ruling?
Right, so through this ruling, the Supreme Court is effectively allowing the administration to enforce their most sweeping effort to date to restrict asylum at the U.S. Mexico border to migrants not only from Central America, but from other parts of the world. This is a joint regulation by the Justice Department and the Department of Homeland Security, which basically renders people who traveled through countries like Mexico or other countries in Central America and did not seek asylum or other types of protection there ineligible for asylum in the U.S., right? So this is a very seismic shift in the way asylum usually works when migrants approach the U.S. Mexico border and ask for asylum to U.S. officials. And it's also very important to note, Elaine, that yes, you know, this is designed to curb migration from Central America, but this also affects people from Cuba, Venezuela, Brazil, even people from Africa, right, who journey through Central America and Mexico to reach the U.S. Mexico border.
And Camilo, why does the Trump administration think this is an important change to the asylum system?
Yes, so they have long railed against what they call foreign shopping by asylum seekers. They think migrants opt to go to the U.S. when, in fact, the administration believes those migrants can seek protection in countries like Mexico and Guatemala. Obviously, immigrant advocates will take issue with those types of statements because, as you know very well, Elaine, these countries, especially countries like Guatemala, do not have as robust of an asylum system as the U.S. And immigrant advocates fear that if the U.S. starts returning asylum seekers to these countries, that they may face persecution there.
So, Camilo, what happens next here?
Well, you know, the administration can actually implement this, and this is important, along the entire border. Because what happened after this rule was announced was that a judge in California issued a nationwide injunction to block the entire policy along the entire border. Then the Ninth Circuit weighed in. The Ninth Circuit is the appellate court, and said that the administration could implement it in California and Arizona, but not in California and Arizona, but it could implement it in Texas and New Mexico. Mm-hmm. But then the same court from the same judge from California issued again a nationwide injunction this week, blocking the policy for a second time nationwide. And so what the Supreme Court did today was essentially stay, that's the official term, those two rulings by the judge, and allow the administration to resume implementing this nationwide.
Such an important development.
Right.
Camilo Montoya-Galvez, thank you so much for helping to break that down for us.
Of course. Thank you, Elaine.